2 jets, 1 carrier deck, 2 completely different philosophies of air power. The F/A-18 Super Hornet is battle-hardened, proven across 25 years of combat, and the undisputed backbone of U.S. carrier aviation. Against the F-35C Lightning II, the most advanced stealth fighter ever to land on a carrier, built for a new era of warfare where being seen means being killed. This is not a simple question of which jet is better. It is a question of what air power will look like in the decades ahead, and how the U.S. Navy intends to fight and win in environments that did not exist when the Super Hornet was first designed. Today, Naval Air Dispatch puts these two aircraft side by side. No hype, no bias, just the full picture. Before we compare weapons, speed, or range, we need to understand what separates these two aircraft at the most fundamental level. The F/A-18 Super Hornet is a fourth-generation multi-role fighter. It was designed in an era when air combat assumed that both sides would, to some degree, be able to see each other. Victory depended on maneuverability, firepower, and pilot skill. The F-35C is a fifth-generation stealth strike fighter. It was designed around a fundamentally different assumption, that in future high-end conflict, the side that is seen first will likely be destroyed first. Therefore, not being seen at all, stealth, becomes the primary tactical advantage. This is not merely a difference in technology. It is a difference in the entire theory of how air warfare is conducted. The Super Hornet asks, "How do I fight when the enemy finds me?" The F-35C asks, "How do I ensure the enemy never finds me at all?" Both are valid questions, and in the current U.S. Navy Carrier Air Wing, both aircraft exist precisely because both questions need answers. The F-35C's most defining characteristic is its radar cross-section, the measure of how visible an aircraft appears to enemy radar. The exact radar cross-section of the F-35C is classified, but publicly available assessments indicate it is approximately equivalent to the radar return of a metal golf ball, compared to a conventional fighter, which appears on radar more like a large truck. This near invisibility is achieved through a combination of carefully shaped airframe geometry that deflects radar waves away from the source, and radar-absorbent material applied to the aircraft's surface. The practical consequence is significant. An enemy air defense radar that could detect and engage an F/A-18 Super Hornet at, say, 150 miles, would detect an F-35C at a tiny fraction of that range, if at all. By the time the radar operator realizes the F-35C is there, the jet may have already completed its mission and turned for home. The Super Hornet, by contrast, is not a stealthy aircraft. It has a substantially larger radar cross-section. In a heavily contested, high-threat environment, against a sophisticated adversary with advanced integrated air defenses, the Super Hornet faces a real survivability challenge that the F-35C does not. This is the F-35C's clearest and most decisive advantage. Stealth is only part of the F-35C's advantage. Its sensor suite represents an equally significant leap forward. The F-35C is equipped with the APG-81 active electronically scanned array radar, one of the most capable airborne radars ever installed in a fighter aircraft. It can simultaneously track dozens of targets in air-to-air and air-to-ground modes, with a range and resolution that far exceeds anything carried by the Super Hornet. But the most transformative capability of the F-35C is its sensor fusion system. The aircraft integrates data from its radar, electro-optical targeting system, electronic warfare suite, and data link, and presents the pilot with a single, unified, automatically processed picture of the battle space. The pilot does not have to manage multiple systems and mentally synthesize what each one is telling them. The aircraft does it automatically, displaying a complete tactical picture directly on the helmet-mounted display. A Super Hornet pilot processes information from multiple separate systems in the cockpit. An F-35C pilot sees the fused result, which is effectively a god's-eye view of the surrounding airspace. In a complex, fast-moving air engagement, this difference in situational awareness can be decisive. The F-35C is a remarkable aircraft, but it is not without limitations, and the Super Hornet exploits several of them. First, payload capacity. The F-35C, when flying in stealth configuration, carries all of its weapons internally in 2 small weapons bays. This limits it to 2 air-to-air missiles and 2 precision bombs in full stealth mode. The Super Hornet, with 11 external hardpoints, can carry vastly more ordnance, a critical advantage in sustained strike operations where volume of fire matters. Second, the buddy tanker role. The Super Hornet, equipped with a refueling pod, can serve as an airborne tanker, passing fuel to other aircraft and dramatically extending the range of the entire air wing. The F-35C cannot perform this role. Every F-35C that flies a long-range mission depends, at some level, on Super Hornets to extend its reach. Third, cost and availability. Each F-35C costs approximately $100 million per aircraft. Each F/A-18 Super Hornet costs roughly $67 million. In a sustained conflict scenario where aircraft are lost and must be replaced, the economic and industrial reality of this gap matters enormously. Fourth, the electronic warfare variant. The EA-18G Growler, derived from the Super Hornet, provides a critical electronic attack capability that the F-35C family simply does not replicate. Growlers clear the path for every other aircraft, including the F-35C itself. The Super Hornet is not obsolete. In many mission profiles, it remains the right tool for the job. The U.S. Navy does not see the F-35C and the F/A-18 Super Hornet as competitors. It sees them as complements, 2 pieces of a single, integrated system. The current carrier air wing is built around this complementary relationship. The F-35C penetrates first. Its stealth allows it to enter defended airspace, suppress or destroy the most dangerous enemy air defense systems, and gather intelligence, while remaining largely invisible to enemy radar. It opens the door. The Super Hornets follow, operating in the degraded air defense environment that the F-35C has helped create. The Super Hornets deliver the volume of firepower that the F-35C alone cannot. They carry more weapons, refuel other aircraft, and sustain the operational tempo over a longer period. The Growlers support both, actively jamming enemy radar and communications throughout the operation, protecting both 5th and 4th generation aircraft from threats that stealth alone cannot defeat. And the E-2D Hawkeye, operating safely beyond the threat zone, orchestrates the entire picture, feeding real-time data to every aircraft in the strike package. Together, these aircraft form a system that is considerably more capable than any one of them operating alone. This is, ultimately, what the U.S. Navy calls a high-low mix, and it is the operational reality of carrier aviation in 2025 and beyond. So which aircraft dominates the carrier deck? The honest answer is, neither one dominates alone, and that is entirely by design. The F-35C brings stealth, sensor fusion, and survivability in the highest threat environments. The Super Hornet brings payload, flexibility, range extension, and the electronic warfare capability that no other carrier aircraft can replicate. The U.S. Navy needs both, and for the foreseeable future, both will fly from American carrier decks, complementing each other in a partnership that is, at this moment, without equal in the world. This has been Naval Air Dispatch. Check the description for links to our previous episodes on how a carrier works, the Super Hornet's full story, and the carrier strike group that brings it all together.